Hi there, friends. I asked you guys if you could try to graph the tadpole data, and I first wanted to see if you could do it on your own, and if not, you can kind of check out what I have here. So remember, the storyline is that there were several AFS students wanted to see what effect this pesticide 7 had on the growth of tadpoles and whether they affected it or not. And so what they did is they put 4 groups of tadpoles together, and group 1 had no insecticide, which is 7, so that'd be your control group, and then groups 2, 3, and 4 had increasing amounts of the pesticide. And they all pretty much started out with 25 tadpoles. Then over a course of 2 weeks or 14 days, they would then check out to see what the numbers look like. And so now what we're talking about here is a graph, of course, and so you have to figure out, well, what goes on the x-axis, what goes on the y-axis. In other words, what's the independent variable and dependent variable. Remember that the dependent variable is the kind of thing that you're collecting. In this case, every day you're coming back and going like, how many tadpoles are left? And so on the y-axis would be the number of tadpoles. And then it gets a little like, well, is it the 7? I know how much 7 I'm using, or is it the days I'm collecting it? Well, in this situation, you're probably going to have, and a line graph would be great here. You might have 4 line graphs, each line graph being a different group, group 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what you do know is do know what day you're actually collecting these things on. So on the x-axis, you would then tend to have, or in this case it would be more appropriate, to have the number of days. So how do we go about graphing that? Well, you might remember that when you have the data set up in a spreadsheet, whatever's in the first column will be on the x-axis, and that's how this is set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this area right here. You can see it kind of got a little darker in blue. I'm then going to go to Insert Graph, which I can do there, or I can do here with Insert Graph. I'll do it this way. So Insert, actually say Chart is what they call them. And I want a line graph. Now that doesn't quite look what I want, I don't think, because if you think about it, they started out with about 25 and then they dropped down, at least some of them did, so that's not quite right. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to Charts. I'm going to go to Line. I tend to like the little curvy ones, as you know. And this still doesn't quite look right because they should all be starting up here and dropping down. Because if you notice the data, most of them start out and then some of them dropped off more significantly. And so remember, you have to do a little massaging over here. And now this is looking a little bit better. I got my group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4 set up for me. And you might recall that in group 4 we didn't start out with 25, we actually started out with 12. And the cool thing is, notice that it actually, when you click the part of the graph, it tells you what the data points are. And so remember, we started out with 12, and then it dropped down, dropped down, dropped down. Also, if you look on the x-axis, this is working pretty well because from there is 3, from there is 6, another 3, 6. So I think we're in good shape there. And so even though it doesn't say amount of 7 in there, we can massage that later, but it's a pretty good start. I'm then going to insert it. And the easier way I've found to edit it, and I think maybe some of you found, is that if I just click on horizontal and I can just type it. And so on the horizontal would be days. On the vertical axis here, which is our dependent variable, this would be number of tadpoles. And the title probably want to be descriptive, something like effect of 7 on tadpoles. So keep it very simple but descriptive. And I think we have, oops, didn't quite get it in there, but you got the idea. And I guess I didn't click on these. Let me try that one more time. So what I should be doing here is putting in days. If I hit return, that works. I forgot to hit return. So you get the idea. So you click on then, put in the correct information. I'll just do this last one. You can do the title. So on the y-axis would be number of tadpoles. I hit return. When I do that, I get the right thing. So I'll let you figure that one out. So that's pretty much how you approach it. So hopefully that is a help to you guys.